Hi there, Year 4. Today we are going to be learning all about how to relax and do something called mindfulness. So we're going to be thinking about training our brains to relax and find a calm space. The power of something called mindfulness, and it helps with positive thinking. So we're going to do a little bit of mindfulness today and thinking about how it might help us. Let's look at these pictures of these children. They're all relaxing. They're doing something they enjoy and it calms them. This is sometimes called mindfulness. All of these children have got their eyes closed and two of them are in nature. And being around nature, trees, maybe in your garden or looking at a picture of nature can help us feel relaxed. If you watch nature programs, that can also help. Lots of people who like watching nature fit programs feel very relaxed when they've finished. Okay, let's look at the next slide. We're going to be looking at something, and I've been using this book called the Unworry Book. It's a really good book and it's got lots of ideas about how to, if we like, detangle all the worries we have and all our thoughts. Sometimes we spend so long working and doing our learning that we feel worried about things and we don't know quite why. Now, mindfulness is a technique which is about focusing on small details and relying on our senses. Can you remember what your senses are? Just pause the video and talk to somebody about the 4 senses. So the first sense that we're going to concentrate on today is hearing, but we're also going to be thinking about smell, taste and sight. Using your senses, really focusing in on one at a time, can really help with relaxing. And when we're relaxed, we're more positive. Today, we're going to be thinking about the mindfulness activities that are involved in hearing and sight. But also there's touch, and that's also another sense. These children are what's called in the moment. They are taking time to be in that moment, and we're going to try something a little bit like that. It takes time and effort, but once you've practiced, it will feel really help you when you feel worried or tired. It will help you calm. It's what I call relax without effort, where you don't have to concentrate on anything. Now, when we start this, you might find it a little bit embarrassing or feel it's a little bit strange, but I promise you, the more you practice, the more it will make you feel calm, relaxed, and help with happiness. Let's look at these pictures for a moment. My question to you is, what do you like to do to relax? I want you to pause the video, look at these pictures, and think about what these children are doing and whether you like doing these things too. I want you to jot down 5 things that you like to do in your spare time when you're not at school that are fun and that you enjoy. 5 completely different things. Pause the video and write them down. Have you written them down? Were any of them the same in these pictures? Some of the things that are in these pictures I like to do. I like to listen to music. I particularly like to listen to music when my son is playing the guitar. I also like to play a good board game in my family. One of the things here that I don't like to do is I don't like to do jigsaws on my own. I find them very frustrating, but I know that other people really, really love to do it. So I wonder what sort of things you wrote down. Did you write reading, or did you like listening to music or making music? Did you write drawing or painting or sewing? There are so many different things that you can do to relax. But my question is, the things you chose, do they require something called concentration? Are they quite difficult to do? And can they be frustrating? You see, playing an instrument is a lovely thing to do and it's really enjoyable, but it requires quite a lot of concentration and can be quite difficult to do. Getting the right pieces together in when you're using Lego can be quite frustrating, and it can be difficult if you can't find the exact right piece for the thing you want to make. So these are great things for relaxing, but they're not what I call effortless relaxing. They take a bit of concentration and focus. Today's relaxing mindfulness activity requires just focusing in on one thing. Keep your jottings for later because you're definitely going to need them. We're going to try something a bit simpler today. We're going to try a short mindfulness exercise. Now, all the resources for this lesson is on Google Classroom. There are links to 2 videos, some images and some activity sheets to help you. You don't need to use any of them if you don't want to, but I think you'll find this is the best one done with the video. I can't show you the video, unfortunately, but we're going to do something very similar. So I've adapted it. In the video that you'll see, the teacher, there he is. He's sitting down comfortably and so are the children. He rings a bell and it makes a lovely booming ringing sound. When he does that, the children close their eyes and they listen to the bell ringing. And I want you to follow that video exactly as it's set out. Breathe normally and listen to the sound of the bell. Then open your eyes when you no longer can hear the bell. We're going to try that now with my triangle. I'm going to ring the triangle really loudly and hold it. And I want you to close your eyes and just listen to the sound of the triangle. Don't open your eyes until you can no longer hear the triangle. And then take 2 or 3 nice big breaths. So if it was just like this, when you could no longer hear it, you would open your eyes and breathe. We're going to have a go. So I will ring the triangle and I'll hold it. I want you to close your eyes. Okay, so I'll tell you to close your eyes and then open them when you can no longer hear the triangle. Are you ready? Close your eyes. Are your eyes open now? So, how did it feel? Could you hear the sound of the triangle? Was it a sound that you liked? Could you concentrate on just that sound? We'll try it again in a moment, but I want you to really focus in on just the sound of the triangle. Listen. You'll hear the vibrations of the triangle. Really listen in and concentrate on just that sound. Needs to be quiet, so that can be quite tricky. We'll have one more go. Close your eyes, listen to the sound, then open your eyes at the end and take a big breath. Lovely. Now, on the video, you'll have a little bit longer to practice that, but have a go and see how whether it makes you feel calm and relaxed. It's a really good activity to do. The second activity that we're going to try is called Just One Breath. This involves you just finding a relaxing place to sit and breathing in and out deeply, paying attention just to the sensations and the things that you notice and hear, concentrating on your breathing. Now, you might think this is a bit odd. We breathe all the time and we don't even notice it, and it keeps us alive. But with this activity, you are really concentrating on your breathing. For example, taking a breath, and again, closing your eyes might help you focus on this. And breathing out. I want you to try that a few times. Go on, close your eyes and have a breath. Pause the video and have a go. Could you hear the sound of your breathing? I want you to next try something slightly different. Breathe in really deeply and breathe out really loudly. Try it several times. Pause the video and have another go. Now, the next thing to do is to take another slow breath and imagine the air traveling through your body. Have a go at that. It can feel a bit strange, but the more you practice it, sitting quietly and trying it, the more the calmer it'll make you feel. And then finally, I want you to try this. Take one deep breath and hold it for a minute. When I say a minute, I mean a second, and then release it. Just listen. Now, the idea of the one breath activity is that you spend a good few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, sitting quietly and just focusing in on that. Have a go and see how it makes you feel. That's a really good one. On the video on Google Classroom, there is a version that is about watching a balloon inflate and deflate. That's a really good one to try. And actually following the balloon, actually, I think you'll really enjoy it and it will help you really, really relax. This is something the whole family could do, or you could do with your brothers and sisters if you've got any. It's a really good way of taking in the breath and breathing out. Now, another way we can relax and unwind is to do something that's easy and really repetitive or doesn't take any thought. Just try and enjoy the feeling of the pens and the papers and the colours and the shapes you make in doodling and colouring. This is from this book, the Unworry book that I talked about earlier. You can find these easily. Again, there are 4 different doodle sheets on Google Classroom, which you can use over the next few days or over next week if you want. But actually, if you can't download that or print off, you can actually make them even better by just doing them yourselves. This is something that Curly class have done with me before, but actually it's something we're all going to do in Year 4. Let's have a look. Let's look at this picture. This is from a doodle book. I want you to look at it and just spend a few seconds rolling your eyes across the page, taking in the shapes and the patterns on the page. Can you pause the video and have a go? What did you spot? I spotted these little tiny triangles. I also noticed that actually the shapes are all hexagons. Yes, that's right. But within the hexagons, there are other patterns and shapes. It's really nice. This wavy line, I really like the look of that one. And I like these circles here. Now, with this activity, what I want you to do is just roll your head across the page, looking at the shapes, looking to see what you notice. Now, you could spend a bit of time colouring in a sheet like this, and that can be a lot of fun. And also it's very relaxing, just focusing in one or 2 colours or shapes. You don't have to colour the whole thing in. Now, another one is to have this sort of shape. Now, this is sort of waves. And I've noticed that it's quite a good thing to practice following the shape with your head, just concentrating on the shapes. And this is another one that you could colour in if you wanted to. Lots of different colours or one single colour. You could just pick out. Like, for example, I think it might be quite nice if you just coloured in these semicircles here. Now, what we're going to do today as our main mindfulness activity is to spend 15 or 20 minutes making our own doodle. Okay. Oh, there's a mistake there. So we are going to spend 15 or 20 minutes making our own doodle. If you want, you can go away and come back to it, or you can just start a new one each time. Ideally, you need a sheet of paper that is either A4 or cut in half, but actually you can make it any shape or size you want. This is yours, and it's actually not up to me to decide what it's going to be like. I'm just going to demonstrate very quickly. Now, when you're doing your own creative doodle, you need to start with either choosing colours, so you might use felt tip pens or a pencil crayon, a black marker, a thin or a thick. It's entirely up to you. And then you need to free your mind of anything that you're going to draw. In this activity, you are not aiming to draw something. You're not trying to draw a pig or a flower or a man or a box. You're just letting your mind go free. I've here got my image and I'm just going to demonstrate here, but I am not doing it in the way that you should. You need to just spend a few minutes just getting ready and then letting yourself create. I'm going to start with a black pen that's quite thick, and I'm going to make marks. Okay. And I'm just letting my pencil fill the page. I've just started, and all I'm doing is my own thing, really. I'm doing sort of zigzag shapes. I'm going to go right down there. Now, with this doodle, there is no right and no wrong. You can't do it wrong. This is just free flow. I'm going to choose a different pen. I'm going to go a bit thinner this time, and I'm going to do some different strokes. But the one thing that you do need to do is to fill the page. Can you see? You get the idea? For those that have been in Curlew, we've sort of talked about this before. It's just about letting it flow. Now, I'm going to try some swirls now. Now, the whole point of this is that it's your own work and it doesn't matter. Some even might say, oh, well, that looks a bit of a mess. It's a bit of a scribble. But actually, that's what I want. I want to just spend a few minutes Okay. Now, when you've done that, you might decide you would like to colour it in. That's also completely up to you. I'm just going to colour in some shapes here and see what it looks like. I'm going to choose some different colours. Now, obviously, when you're colouring in with pencil crayons or felt tip pens, you can choose different kinds of shades. I'm limited in what I can choose here. But do you understand? You might colour in as much or as little as you want. The most important thing is that you spend time actually just choosing and deciding on the colours that you want. Okay, so I'm just going to just do this. Oh, I've changed my line there to red. Can you see? So the whole point of that is that you doodle, and actually once you have doodled, you'll make your own piece of art. This is one I took a bit longer over. I was thinking about a continuous doodle with this one. I didn't take my pen off the page at all. I just used the black line. And then I picked out some things that I liked to decide to see what the colours were. Though I think actually in hindsight, I wish I'd picked that one. There we are. That's better. I think I prefer that now. It's got a little bit more. There was an artist called Piet Mondrian, and he spent his life using blocks of colour and lines to make paintings. He became very famous for doing it. So the more time you spend on that, where you're not worrying about anything else, just focusing in on that, well, it will mean that you've got more time to actually just empty your mind of any worries and have a go at this. Remember, the most important thing is it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's your own doodle. But actually, some of them will look amazing when they're finished. They will be proper creative works of art. But it's the mindfulness aspect of it that we're listening to today, thinking about today. So the tasks that you have today are trying the breathing activity that is on Google Classroom with the links. There's a page of links and it's called the balloon activity. I also want you to watch the video, which is all about listening to the bell and really focusing in on that. Do not open your eyes until you can no longer hear the sound, and then take in the breaths. Those are two really important things to do. And then I want you to do your own constant doodle. You can either do it in one constant line, like my second picture, or you can do it in lots of different lines and then colour in part of it or all of it. I then want you to do a fourth thing. Okay, these are all quite small things. Is I want you to look at the jottings that you made at the beginning. Do you remember when you wrote down 5 things that you like to do to relax? And I want you to think about trying to do one of those things each day for the next 5 days. Now, obviously, if you decide one of the favourite things to do is to do cooking, then that might mean that they involve buying food, shopping, and all that sort of thing. So you need to talk to your grown-up about that. The most important thing is that you choose some things that are practical that you can have a go at. You chose 5 things. Obviously, if you play an instrument, that is something you can have a go at every day, and that will be really good for you. Okay, so mindfulness colouring is for today's main activity, and the listening and watching the other little videos. I hope that you'll have a go at doing some of the doodle colouring. You can actually do a mini doodle every day for the next 7 days, because it would be a very good activity to do. But if you want to upload your finished products, you can. The most important thing is that you spend time and energy, remember, doing that, focusing in on the moment. Remember, before we go, let's do 2 or 3 big breaths. Close your eyes and breathe out. Have a good afternoon, and I'll see you next time. Bye.